One. Welcome to Laugh and Learn with Vern. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have a very special guest. We're doing a high intensity podcast episode today. Get excited. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Tony Webker. Me and my wife, Abby, are the owners and brand owners of CrossKicks Fitness. Yeah.
What is CrossKicks Fitness?
Yeah. So CrossKicks Fitness is a, HIIT training studio. Our big niche in the industry is that we have that high intensity class training environment with no class times. So we're able to move people in and work out at your convenience of your schedules. And we're very efficient in the same sense with your time. So you show up and we do the rest. So
what do you mean by it's a group workout, but there's no schedule? What do you mean?
Yeah. So we work in like a high intensity circuit style workout. So as our members come in throughout the day, we typically match you guys up as you come in small groups and we move you through a circuit style workout. So on a typical day at CrossKicks, we can start about 5 new people every 5 minutes. So essentially breaking that down, 1 person every minute can funnel into our circuit workouts, starting with like a dynamic warm-up round. And then after that group, let's say a group of 5 gets done at that warm-up round, they're moving on to another round as we're starting another group of 5 in behind them. You
mentioned you and your wife. Are there trainers? Like I know at some gyms you'll have like someone walk up to you and just kind of talk. Like how does the trainer aspect work at CrossKicks?
Yeah. Hey, really good question. So, it used to be me, myself, and Irene, running the hats. And fortunately, we've been extremely, blessed and gracious of our opportunity to grow. And we have at our corporate club here in Algonquin, we have 12 trainers that work on staff. So on a typical day, we have 2 to 3 coaches that are moving people through that workout. So out on the training floor, very, very hands-on approach. So everybody gets coached as they come in. We call it a semi-private training environment. So you're in, typically there's a coach. People kind of joke about us being like the show Friends, like everybody knows your name. So typically your coach, is going to greet you. Hey, how you feeling? Jack, come on in, round 1's over here. And that coach is going to help, make sure what those exercises are at that round, explain what the tempos are for that day, what the goal of that workout is. And then the coaches are going to be staged throughout that workout that are going to be helping, make progressions, regressions, modifications, and whatnot to that workout.
I was a member of the gym for a little bit when I was living in the area, and I did a certain program we'll talk about in a minute. When you're talking about like a certain day, like for example, on a leg day, one of the things I thought was really unique about CrossKicks is that it wasn't, a lot of gyms will just have like a cardio area or a weight area, or maybe they'll have an area with like some TRX or some cables, but you really like to have everything in there. You have punching bags, some boxing, some kickboxing. Could you walk someone through, let's talk about the Algonquin location. So I walk in the doors, there's an area where I can put my stuff. And then I walk in, I'm getting greeted by someone. Maybe Darla's there. She's saying, Eric, come on, let's go. Let's get started. Yeah. She knows I'm running late because usually I said I'd get there at 5 and it was 5:55.
Yeah.
So I walk in, I'm getting greeted. I'm doing the warm up. What are some of those stations like?
Yeah, good question. So we take an extremely functional approach to fitness, right? So a lot of, body weight movements, but then we also dial into some of the, really all the latest things that are hot in the industry from a functional training perspective. We do bring in some of the, HIIT concepts with ski ergs, rowers, bikes, your fan bikes. And then we do have the latest and greatest assault treadmills that we like.
What is an assault treadmill?
Those are like those curved deck treadmills that don't have a motor, like you're the motor.
Okay.
Really great for quick interval sprints and stuff like that. But we also bring in, and along our like strength wall, we're going to have our dumbbells, kettlebells. We do tie into some barbell work. So kind of the best things you can get at like a CrossFit box with some barbell training. So we do believe in developing some really deep strength movements. So we will on certain days load you up on a squat rack or a deadlift or a bench press, are really utilized and worked into our workouts on a day-to-day basis as well. And then we work in, we separate our gym, essentially like a boxing conditioning half, if you will. And then down the middle of our gyms is a shot of field turf. So on our turf, we do a lot of our plyometrics, sleds, box jumps, broad jumps, relays, stuff like that, typically on our turf area. And then on the other half of that wall or other side of that gym is our strength focus set. And that would be where you find your kettlebells, dumbbells, rogue racks, barbells, some cable racks and things like that. So, I always tell people we really have a good balance of like that strength and conditioning, which is essential for building muscle, helping, keep you younger, and also tying in those HIIT training aspects, which science show and prove to be the most effective and efficient way to exercise today.
One of the things I liked is that one of my favorite parts was you'd walk in, everything's already set up. So there's no, you just need to physically be there. Everything is set up. You just need to learn. And the trainer will help you through the workout. A lot of times, if there was only a couple people and they're busy, I kind of just ask someone next to me or just kind of watch them. You have the different stations. Who comes up with like the workouts for the day? How do you determine how that works?
Yes. So good. Also good questions. There's always a method to the madness, I would say, right? So we have program manuals that we move out to and through all of our facilities. All of our CrossKicks Fitness locations are independently owned and operated. So those individual trainers, so not only do we have a really great opportunity for our members, we also have a really great career opportunities for our trainers, staff, and we've actually been fortunate enough to promote three of our trainers into management positions and now into club owner operator positions where everybody's just doing an amazing job. But getting back to the program itself, so I have developed, the philosophies, the periodization. So all of the gyms, roll on the same sequence, have the same focus and whatnot. We also have like a periodized like strength platform. So there's progression to all those workouts, but all the club owners are able to put a little bit of their own love into each workout, if you will. So you're going to have the base and bolts on what you need to accomplish that day. And then each club's going to be able to put in to play a few of their favorite things, and also incorporate a little bit of the strong suits of their, personal facility. Cause the layout in each club is a little bit different, but each day, to keep expanding on your question, each day has a different focus to it. And you will know, and all of our members do know ahead of time, like what that focus is going to be. We call it workout periodization. So we have like a leg and core base building day always on our Mondays to kick off our weeks. And then we come back on a Tuesday with more of an upper body, like tempo push pull day. And then our Wednesdays is a big Metcon. We call it our TKO Wednesdays, which is a big like conditioning day, big calorie output. And then we reset and move back to a leg and core day Thursday, upper body day Friday, and another Metcon day on Saturday. So what that does is allow people really essentially to come in, on a day in and day out basis without, burning themselves out, getting, overtraining, risking injury or anything like that, because we're really shifting gears where one segment or muscle groups resting while we're training another group that following day.
I don't remember the method to the madness. Where did this come from? Because this is not another thing that struck me was I've trained at CrossKicks. I've been to your standard Lifetime Fitness. I dabbled in Orange Theory for a little bit, which I didn't think was that bad. I just didn't want to it wasn't for me. And then I did CrossFit, which I didn't like it. Where did you come? It's like I love that you have weights, you have cardio, the punching and the kicking. And then it always felt a little bit different. So like, who developed some of these ideas and like, where do they come from?
Yeah, really good question. So, I credit, this goes all the way back to like my roots, and I can credit a lot of mentors in my life along the way. Like I grew up in the sticks in Iowa. I'm a farm boy from Northwest Iowa, and our coaches and mentors at that young age, middle school into high school, Like I was fortunate to be part of 11 state championship teams when I was in high school on a small rural Iowa Farmville community, where we wrestled, played football, played baseball, ran track.
Yeah.
And, and farmed. Like that's what we did that year.
and then on top of that, you farmed. Yeah.
Yeah. And, a lot of the credit I think I almost give to my work ethic and where we are today is like they drilled into your head the base like fundamental movements and base strength patterns. And we actually had coaches that helped develop everyone, not just the best on your team and make, the best better, but everybody, learn the basic fundamentals of weightlifting. We actually had a very structured like strength and conditioning program that we followed when we were in high school. And even that program, I see parts and bits of that program still being implemented in my training philosophies and modalities here. I graduated high school in 2003, so I'm coming up on 20 years out of school.
Crazy.
Yeah. And we had really great coaches and mentors. And then, I went on to college and, played baseball and football in college and, got on the strength and conditioning team my senior year and learned a lot about, how to train, the wrestlers, how do the wrestlers train different than the football players?
Yeah.
Football players train different than the soccer players and the track athletes and all those. So I'm able to kind of harness all of what was going on and the goal behind all of those programs and, kind of evolve that into what the typical, person, AKA I call them athletes, like Vern, you're an athlete, right? My mom and my grandmother are athletes, right? So the ideas and concepts behind our programs at CrossKicks are some of those same concepts that we trained, as athletes. We still have, those modalities. They're just structured a little bit differently. And, my grandmother is not going to be doing, 30-inch box jumps, so we're able to.
She likes the 36-inch. I've seen her in that gym. Right. She doesn't mess around.
She doesn't, honestly, but yeah, so our coaches are able to adapt those workouts to make everybody, successful and provide those modifications. But a lot of the programming and the structure came from my roots, and it's, it works, having those periodized workouts, it works. And then, just keeping up with the latest and greatest in the industry and, HIIT training and following some of the, industry leaders and professionals to make sure that we are continuing to, lead with our best foot forward. So
let's do a couple hypotheticals. So one of the things we talked about before we went on is some people one of the trends this year is people that have really never worked out, starting to work out. So let's say someone's listening to this and they've literally never worked out before. Why is CrossKicks a good fit for them?
Yeah. Great question. And yes, we just had a little year in review here this last week with all of our corporate team. And, we always do a lot of, industry study and whatnot. And one of the biggest things is do you in 22, right? So like it's your year with COVID and with all of the major health concerns that have arose, and people are much more conscious of, even their blood panels, man, my cholesterol's high. I'm at higher risk for getting COVID and having more of an impact on me. Yes. How do I get cholesterol down? Mm-hmm. Or like, hey, I'm, have hypertension, or I have, potential greater health risks that would put me in a jeopardized spot. If I were to trace, back COVID, it's going to impact me differently. And studies and science shows that it is impacting people that have underlying health concerns much greater than people that have exercise and fitness and a really strong immune system, and their blood work looks phenomenal, and those people are having much of a less impact on. So I think the education's finally getting out there that, hey, let's take some preventative measures here and start taking care of myself. Yeah. And that being said, some people that maybe never even thought about having a fitness membership at all are now, man, let's Google this and see maybe what this fitness is all about. And yeah, so to answer your question, getting back, to what we do at CrossKicks, I mean, we have a lot of people that call in all the time, like, thinking, I better get in shape before I go join your gym. Cause it looks really,
yeah,
I see that all the time. And, everybody that's in our gym, had a first day. Everyone had a first day.
Yeah.
And that first step is usually the hardest step. It is the hardest step to make.
Sure.
But what we do at CrossKicks is, we have all of our coaches trained and learned on, reading body, understanding, and going through like a verbal med history and PAR-Q and goal assessment before you even start your workouts. So we can understand if, Susie comes in that has never worked out a day in their life.
Yeah.
And they've been thinking about taking this step for the last year. And today was finally the day that they worked up the courage to come through the door.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to just throw on a pair of boxing gloves and just go crush 100% of this workout that day. Like there's going to be a major progression for her, sure. Through that first workout. So our coaches have been taught to regress and pull back. Maybe there was three sets on that warm-up round that they needed to get through. And Susie's on her first day. She may go through and do one set and dabble with one set of each one of the rounds that day and build in extra rest times, et cetera, again. And then, for another example, maybe, at one of the strength rounds where somebody that's been a veteran member will be grabbing these big dumbbells to maybe do this press movement. And, this new member is completely, weight free for that first, 2, 3, 4 weeks, possibly. So just providing and being smart about training modalities, but then in the same sense, think of what Susie potentially would do if she were to just walk into Lifetime and not have a trainer at all.
I guess I'll
it's
do
super
some curls.
If they can walk through a gym that has a trainer included, those trainers are going to help them. That's what we dedicate our careers to helping, people. So we're going to make sure that we modify and make sure that person has a really great experience.
Let's say you have someone who is more of a fitness aficionado. We'll use your cousin and my good friend Ben. Ben comes in there, and he's in good shape. He's ran a marathon. He knows how to lift. What do you do at CrossKicks to help people get to another level?
Yeah. Hey, that's another really good question. So we're talking like spectrums, right? So we have this person that's never been in a day in their life and they're looking at this mountain to climb. And all I want them to do is see the very first step. I don't even want them to look up. I just want to see them, to see that first step and understanding that, hey, we might sit on this first step for the next 3 months. That's okay. Mm-hmm. Then I take that next step to that next step. And that we might even visualize that top of that mountain for 2 years, but hey, we need to start to look towards that mountain versus, a guy like Ben's coming in who maybe climbed the mountain 5 times already, literally.
Literally.
He wants to go find that mountain that's a little bit bigger to climb. And, that be another, hey, let's put something. I always like to have a goal to work towards, right? So somebody like Ben that would come in, that maybe it's not a physique goal, maybe it isn't a weight loss goal or a fat loss goal that he would have, but maybe he is working towards like, hey, I want to be able to, lift more weight, get stronger, or maybe, hey, I want to put an event on the calendar for this year and I want to train for that event. So we actually, excitingly so, and I don't even know if we mentioned this before the call or not, but we just affiliated with 2 other global companies, one being Spartan.
Okay.
And
nice.
A company called High Rocks, which is new to the US. They're a German-based company. We're now a affiliate with both of those companies. So High Rocks is both High Rocks and Spartan. So Spartan is a big race company. Their Spartan races are, globally known. They're all, OCR, so obstacle course races, right? Where you go out and you run through the mud, and you climb the walls, and
Sure. Yeah.
you together, and it's a big camaraderie event. So because of COVID, in a sense, just as we developed this hybrid model, which I'm assuming we'll talk about here in a minute, so did those race series. And now Spartan Race has they call it a DECA program, where they actually have now branched out and affiliated with all of these boutique fitness centers. And now they're using the fitness centers to host events for them. But these events now, like fitness events, utilizing a lot of the same modalities that we use on a day in and day out basis: sleds, rowers, lunges, dumbbells, and what. And they have a DECA is a decathon. There are actually 10 events built into this DECA program. If you will, it's called zones. So you have to complete zone 1, and then you move to zone 2, then to zone 3, et cetera, which fits our program, awesome at cross kicks, because we work in the round and all of that. So there's DECA Strong, which is just the 10 zones. You complete it in your best time possible. There's a RX, so like a prescribed weight and reps that you need to complete at each one of those zones. And then there's a DECA Mile, where you complete a zone and then run a 1/10 of a mile, and then complete a zone, run a 1/10 of a mile. And then the trifecta would be the DECA Fit, which is a 5K. So you run a 1/5 of a mile, or I think it's 500 meters in between every one of the 10 zones.
Okay.
And those are hosted at like Chicago at the end of July. There'll be a DECA Fit. The DECA Strong and the DECA Mile are hosted at their affiliate clubs.
Cool. Okay.
But put these programs in action in our clubs. We're going to be hosting all of those events this year. So somebody like Ben is going to be somebody that I'm going to talk to about, hey, we're hosting this DECA Strong event in March. Here we're 10 weeks out from that program. Here's going to be how your training should look like over the next 10 weeks. And we're going to invite those people in that are looking to train for that event. Now we have something on the calendar for those people to train for. High Rocks is almost the exact same. And that's what I have next weekend on the 22nd. There's High Rocks Chicago that I'm training for. And that's a little more aggressive. There's 8 zones where you run 1,000 meters in between every zone.
A little more aggressive, huh?
Yeah, a little aggressive, but it's going to be super fun. And they use what they call their PFTs, which is a performance fitness test, where they send out to their affiliate clubs. So we actually ran a PFT here a couple months back and hosted that in our club. And it's really like a means and ways for our members to test their performance. So we're going to do it really every year. So it's going to give people yet another test measure to show that they're improving year over year during that, performance test that we'll do every fall.
I did not know any of that. I had seen the pictures. Maybe I should do a little more research, but I saw that I know that you were doing something, but that's awesome. So you really have the spectrum, like you discussed. You can have the beginner that, just taking that first step, and the courage it takes to do that. I had like last year, so I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I remember that first day. It's cool. Now I do it all the time, but the first day, I'm like, I don't know how to do anything. Even a forward roll. So anyone who, I love that you guys, you cater to people that like first day, the courage to do it. They're nervous. They don't know any of this stuff, and you help them get up that hill no matter how long it takes. And now you've got these other goals that people can reach out to. But the thing I did when I was there was I did this 90-day weight loss challenge. Now I have to admit, even though we went through the diet and you went over my macros, I didn't follow it as much as I should have, which you obviously knew because I didn't win the challenge. Clearly. Yeah. You've had some people, and that's what spurred me to reach out to you, is you had some people that crushed it over the last 90-day challenge. I mean, the before and after pictures, and is it Cross Kicks Fitness on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yep. You got to check this out. These people, unbelievable results. So can you talk a little bit about, so you have a 90-day weight loss program coming up. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and then some of the things that you've seen?
Yeah. You know what we have? We call them our signature programs. We have our base members, right? You can sign up, and that's kind of like any gym. Those members all have full access, but every quarter we have what we call an ancillary program or one of our specialty programs that we kick off. So one of our most popular is being our 90-day total body transformation challenge. We are enrolling for that, which kicks off this coming Monday, the 17th. But the big thing that sets that aside is really the nutrition piece that gets pulled into that program, right? And one of my famous sayings is always, you can never outrun your fork, right? So no matter how many workouts you do every day and how intense your workouts and how great your workouts are, if you're not fueling your body, if you're not putting the right foods back into your body, you're still, treading water. You're not getting anywhere. So the 90-day programs, we use industry leading like body composition technologies called our InBody system. So all have in their metabolic centers InBody technology. InBody essentially is a really fancy scale that's going to accurately help measure your fat, your fat mass, your lean mass, and it also gives me a basal metabolic number, which helps me understand how many calories your body is approximately burning sedentary. And from that data, I have developed a matrix that we use for all of our programs, that we use the data from your InBody scan and your goal for the program and input that into a matrix. And it actually is able to help calculate personalized specific macro numbers and calorie goals for you to use to achieve that goal that we set. So that's the huge value piece and value add for that program. That's what you're talking a little bit about. You should have followed a little closely than you wanted to. So yes,
that is correct.
And one of the biggest things that sets us aside at CrossKicks is we have very dedicated and passionate trainers that if you commit your goals to us, that is also now our goal to help you achieve your goal. So our staff really does go above and beyond in those programs. From the accountability piece, if you have every Monday and throughout those programs is a mandatory, no freaking dog ate your homework, no excuse, bring me a food journal printed, and you weigh in, check in every single Monday throughout those challenges. And our coaches go through literally every line item within your food log, highlighters, markers. Instead of doing this, do this. Or, hey, last week I told you not to quit doing this. Hey, let's go. And we make constant improvements and adjustments with those macros and those nutrition programs. Within that program, also, you're going to get, a food menu, what to eat, when to eat it, how much to eat, optional food items, optional supplement menu, and all of that. All those tools are given to you at the start of that program. So a lot of gyms, some of our competitors are, they might have one of those programs, but it's more of like hey, weigh you in on day 1 and weigh you out on day 90. Sure. And whoever lost most is our winner. We, think the opposite. We don't leave you, to the wolves at all. I mean, you got somebody you feel like is with you, you're at the gym for an hour a day. You have somebody that you feel like somebody's with you for 24 hours a day, just because of that nutrition component that program brings to the table. So
my favorite part of it was the community aspect. And I felt like there was always someone there who cared. People knew everyone's names. And honestly, when I didn't follow the food program, I felt like I was letting you down.
Yeah.
I was like, I let myself down, but at the same time, I was like, oh, I got to show this journal to Abby. Like, oh, this isn't, especially after like a Sunday, if I had a couple beers, maybe some wings, and then I'm just,
She's scary.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You're intimidating yourself at times, but you guys are all friendly. I had a blast. It was honestly, when I moved, I felt like I was like breaking up. I was just, in my head, I'm like, it's not you all. I'm literally moving. But you've got locations in Algonquin, Roselle, Lake Zurich, South Elgin, and this program kicks off, I believe, on Monday.
Yeah.
And then you're having a new free nutritional seminar this Saturday. Where and when is that?
Each club has a little different timeline and date. I know one of our clubs actually is kicking that off tonight, Thursday, but ours is on Algonquin at 12:30 this coming Saturday. And if you could search us or find us on Facebook, CrossKicks Fitness Algonquin, I do have an event that's live. So if you want to read more about that, or if you're in the area and interested at all and, checking it out, that's a free, like, come in and, no obligation, no workout, even, like, you come in and you get to, sit and just soak it up a little bit. So,
but you don't have to work out, but I mean, if you feel obligated, maybe.
Hey, we highly encourage, getting that full, the full spectrum. We run our workouts on Saturday from 7 to noon. And then we'll have a little setup and we kick off that nutrition seminar at 12:30. So
Trainer Tony, owner, founder, right? I mean, I'm just founder of CrossKicks Fitness. I love what you're all doing. I enjoyed it so much. I love the aspect that what'd you say? Do you in 22? I would encourage everyone to check out CrossKicks. Get involved in this program, get your diet right. As you talked about before, a lot of people wait until March or April to look good in the summer. Build those habits now. Get off the couch. Listen, the Bears aren't in the playoffs. The Bears are never in the playoffs. You don't need to watch every football game. You don't need to have the wings. You don't need to have every beer. Go meet Tony. Go have some fun. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I love what you're doing again.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah. And quick disclaimer, this isn't affiliated with the Army or the Department of Defense or the DOD. Although I would say from a workout perspective, it wouldn't hurt anyone involved in them to maybe incorporate some of the wonderful things, although the Army does great workouts. So Tony, thank you again and have a wonderful day. And how do I stop recording? Here we go.